My name is Alex. I am Johnny Contini's wife. And bear with me because I am incredibly nervous to share my story, but here goes. While contemplating how God's grace met me in my brokenness, I remembered a social media post I had written back in 2020 about a night in 2018 that read, "The lowest point in my life was at a gas station in the middle of the night with my life packed in my car. I was waiting to be picked up and taken home just to have to go to work a few hours later, as though nothing had ever happened. I thought so little of myself that day. I couldn't recognize who I was anymore. How did I let myself get here? How did I allow myself to be this person who was so insecure, doubtful, and depressed? How did I allow myself to be in a situation like this? How was I not better than this? Was this my fault? What happens next? How do I keep it together? Should I have asked for help sooner?" It felt like I was drowning. This post was a small reflection on a difficult time when I decided to leave an abusive relationship with the help of a friend and her husband. My ex and I didn't treat each other with care or respect, and it felt like there was no coming back from that. As time passed, our relationship took a turn for the worse, and the more we held on to it, the worse things got. In hindsight, I'm not proud of the actions that I did during that time, but I am proud that I had the courage to accept help to leave the situation. I found myself in a tough spot, trapped in a cycle of triggering memories from this relationship and feelings of worthlessness. Things had gotten so bad that one day my partner and I had a terrible argument that ended with me physically being dragged off my bed, dragged across the floor, and thrown out of our home. It was a terrifying time, and I felt like I had lost myself. I struggled to cope with everything. Sometimes I thought about just driving my car off a bridge or hoping a truck would hit me, but I knew these thoughts weren't me. I remember having a conversation about life with my older cousin when he visited me. He told me something that I would never forget. He said, "Sometimes you just need to take the path of least resistance. And that doesn't mean taking the easy way, but it means listening to your surroundings and following the direction they're guiding you toward." On our drive home, I looked at the sky and I prayed, "God, I can't do this anymore. I've been trying it my way, and clearly it's not working. So Jesus, take the wheel and show me your way. I'm exhausted. I'm heartbroken. I'm lost, but I'm listening." The year that followed changed my life completely. A group of friends invited me to their church's small group, and although I had reservations at first, I started showing up. It was a challenge for me to share my story and open up, but I gradually began to take steps toward Jesus. I started praying to God more informally, treating it like a conversation rather than a formal prayer, which was new to me. Although it was tough, I persisted. I asked difficult questions. I've asked a lot to Johnny as well. I challenged my faith. I experienced a lot of anger, but through it all, I knew he was present even when it didn't feel like he was. I learned of God as a father, fighting with him and learning to love him. In ways I never imagined, he nurtured my soul and helped me learn to love the person he created me to be. With his guidance and his gifts to me, I was able to build a life that I could support on my own. The tears are getting in my contacts, I can't see. And then he brought me Johnny Contini, the first man who loves me the way God has called a man to love a woman. Through all my experiences, I have come to know God's amazing grace. This grace has allowed me to see him not only as a father, but also my closest friend. The very thought of Jesus brings me a deep sense of peace and a long-standing warm embrace. And I'm comforted knowing that I'm never alone. However, as Carter mentioned in one of his previous sermons, I can't see. We sometimes try to hide our shame behind a heroic story, and I don't want to do that. The truth is that I still come across triggers that can be tough to handle, and sometimes I even battle with depression. I also have moments when I question things in my life, and I have doubts that make me uneasy. But at the end of the day, what gives me a never-ending strength is knowing that I have faith in Jesus and that he will always be my closest friend. Thank you.